Hello and welcome to the 1995 Portuguese Grand Prix. Reviews have been flooding in for Salo's poor performance last weekend, which sees him with a rating of 3 out of 10. Critics have been noting that the Italian Grand Prix weekend was one of the worst streamlined performances in the team's history. No news today, so let's get into qualifying for the Portuguese Grand Prix. Here we are in qualifying for the Portuguese Grand Prix. It's round 13 of the 1995 season, and we ride on board as always with the streamlined engineering car of Mika Salo, who's only finished one out of the last 3 races, albeit that one race finish was in Spa when he picked up a singular point for 6th place, driving against the likes of Damon Hill to claim that point on a very challenging weekend, but it would prove to be successful. Talking about a challenging weekend, last time out at the Italian Grand Prix, we were tipping Streamline to have a really good weekend based on their performance at that exact same track the previous year in 1994, but it all fell apart for Salo on the opening lap of the race, where he collided with the Lotus of Alessandro Zanardi, not through any fault of his own, Zanardi running into the back of him, causing an instant retirement for the Streamline car, and his sister Streamline, Zomba Ruth, didn't make it too many more laps before retiring on the main straight, so it was a double Streamline retirement, and they'll be hoping to bounce back here today in Portugal at a circuit that we don't know too well in terms of Formula 1. We haven't raced here that many times. We did race here last season though. I can't quite remember how it turned out for Salo, but he's rounding the final corner on his fastest qualifying lap. Ayrton Senna, surprise surprise, is on provisional pole position right now, a 1:23.614. Can Salo get anywhere near that? He's across the line just about now. It's a 1:24.371. It's 4th place right now for Salo. Let's see where he lines up on the starting grid. Here we have the qualifying results. Senna on pole ahead of Coulthard. The gap is 0.5 tenth of a second. Damon Hill in 3rd place. And the streamline of Mika Salo starting up in 4th place. What a fantastic qualifying session from the Finnish driver. Martin Brundle in 5th, John Alesi alongside him on the 3rd row of the grid, Eddie Irvine and Mahendra, a Jordan and Sauber on the 4th row, and a Jordan and Sauber on the 5th row, Barrichello ahead of Frentzen. The second Ferrari of Gerhard Berger lines up in 11th, Panis 12th, Katayama 13th, Ralf Schumacher and his teammate Morbidelli 14th and 16th, with the second streamline of Reith sandwiched in between. Giancarlo Fisichella in the lead, Minardi up in 17th place, Alessandro Zanardi in 18th, his teammate Blundell in 20th place, and the second Tyrrell of Verstappen sandwiched in between them. A few big hitters not doing well in qualifying. Mika Häkkinen all the way down in 21st place. Martini lines up 22nd. Roland Ratzenberger and his teammate Gunon make it onto the grid alongside the LaRousse of Johnny Herbert. Michael Schumacher just scrapes through, having issues after his first flying lap in qualifying. He wasn't able to set another lap time, and his one and only lap time was good enough for just 26th place. Hideki Noda, Bernard, Rosset and Sospiri not making it onto the grid. So here we are then at the Autodromo do Estoril in Portugal. It's a 4.3 kilometre circuit featuring 71 laps, and it's going to be dry throughout. So quite a few laps in this one. The action zones, turn 1, it's almost a flat right-hander. You've got to lift, you've got to brake a little bit. Turn 3 is a hairpin, slightly uphill, great overtaking opportunity. And turn 6 is at the end of a straight in the middle sector of the circuit, another good overtaking opportunity. The difficulty of the circuit overall is moderate. Overtaking is not that common, it's kind of low, and the speed is moderate as well. The streamlined engineering driver strategies, both drivers going for a 2-stop, very similar strategies for both of them. Salo starting up in 4th, and Zomba Reith starting down in 15th, right in the midfield. Can either of them score points today and bounce back after a poor showing at the Italian Grand Prix? Well, there's only one more thing to do, and that's go racing. The 1995 Portuguese Grand Prix is next. Here we are on the grid, 3 lights, 4 lights and 5. The 1995 Portuguese Grand Prix is underway, and Salo from his unprecedented position of 4th on the grid loses 1 position to Martin Brundle on the run down to turn 1, as there's Coulthard and Senna going side by side through the right hander of turn 1. Salo loses a bit of grip, another position, John Alesi up to 5th, Sala relegated down to 6th place. We're not expecting him to hold on to that 4th position, of course, as loads of drivers in qualifying suffering from various incidents and issues, meaning that many fast drivers such as Häkkinen and Schumacher started far below where they were expected to. But right now Sala losing out on 2 positions in the first sector on his opening lap. He's going to see if he can try and fight back against the Ferrari of John Alesi on the run down to turn 6, which was one of the highlighted action zones pre-race. It's a good overtake opportunity. Sala thinks about the move up the inside, but thinks better of it. He's had many issues so far this season involving himself and, well, let's just say his erratic driving style, causing a lot of spins. And that's another one. He's lost grip mid-corner turning in. The tyre's just not up to temperature yet, and he's going to lose a whole host of positions. Of course, it's not a spin. It's only a small mistake, and he's down to maybe a more realistic position of 11th on this opening lap. Gerhard Berger already up into the top 10, so Berger's made a good start to this race. We'll keep an eye on where Michael Schumacher manages to climb up during this race, as he started all the way down in 26th. Lights out, and Senna gets a half-decent start, looking to defend the inside as David Coulthard gets a great launch from 2nd place in the Benetton, and they go side by side through the first corner, but Senna with the inside line manages to hold the lead. There's a bit of contact between the Williams and the Benetton as Coulthard has to settle for 2nd place, and he's now under pressure from Damon Hill. Coulthard looks to the inside of Senna into turn 3, but no move can be made there, and Senna leads the way. Moving on to lap 3 and into turn 3 on lap 3, Coulthard sides his way up the inside of Senna and takes the lead. The Scotsman now leads the Portuguese Grand Prix. Lap 4 and Senna looks to retake the lead, so the drivers at the front swapping positions. Lap 4 and Katayama's looking up the inside of Salo here in the middle sector. The Tyrrell and the Streamline side by side. Katayama's taking that position for now, but Salo back up the inside to just hold on to the 11th place. He's not being dropped by any of these drivers ahead of him, which is a good sign. Gerhard Berger only 9/10 of a second ahead. Lap 5, and once again Coulthard has a run on Senna, and to the inside of turn 3 he's going to go for the move again, and once again moves into the lead. Berger has made it past Frentzen, and now Salo's trying to do the same. He's all over the back of the Sauber driver in his middle sector. He goes to the inside for the tight left-hander, makes a little bit of contact between the Sauber and the Streamline, and Frentzen for now holds on to the position. As we are now about 10% of the way through this race, it's lap 7, and Salo's got a run on Frentzen here into turn 6, under braking. They're still side by side. Salo's got the position into the top 10. Now he will try and get after the Ferrari and the Jordan in front. Lap 11, and Frentzen's all over the back of Salo here. Into turn 3, he's diving up the inside, and I think he's made the position. Good overtake there from the Sauber driver. Salo once again down to 11th, but this track does offer some amazing racing. We saw this last year at the 1994 counterpart of the Portuguese Grand Prix, where it was a rain-hit race, rain-affected race, and it threw up some surprises and some great battles between Salo and I think the Footworks. It's lap 16 and race leader David Coulthard into the pits. That releases Senna and Hill, who are right behind Coulthard as he was approaching laps traffic, to move through into 1st and 2nd place. Coulthard is going to lose that few more positions, I believe, as there's a Ferrari and a McLaren coming down the main straight. That's Alesi and that's Brundle, so Coulthard's going to rejoin in 5th place. On lap 17, Salo makes a mistake, struggling to find gears. He runs off at turn 4. Very strange incident. Usually we see him spinning, but he was just struggling to get down through the gears, and thus the car didn't slow down as much because, of course, Formula 1, it's important to use engine braking to your advantage. So he falls behind a couple of drivers, including Katayama and Ligier there, possibly Olivier Panis it is. So he manages to side his way back up the inside of Katayama into turn 6, and he'll work on catching and overtaking Panis. Lap 18, one lap after he lost the position, he gains the position again up the inside of Olivier Panis. Once Salo does make these mistakes, he's usually pretty quick afterwards to try and make up for the error. But he's now 6 seconds behind Frentzen. That top 10 position slowly slipping away from Salo at this stage in the race. Ralf Schumacher battling with his brother Michael on lap 21, but it's all going to come to an end as round turn 1, Ralf Schumacher is going to pull over to the side of the track and retire his car, becoming the first retirement of this Portuguese Grand Prix. Tyre wear is really affecting Streamline's progress in this race at the moment. It's lap 20, and now Panis all over the back of Salo. He takes a position down the main straight. Salo jumps into the slipstream to try and take the position back down towards turn 1. They're side by side. Streamlined on the inside, Ligier on the outside, and Salo manages to take the position back through turn 1. Forces Panis slightly wide on the exit of turn 1 and holds on to what is now 10th place. Salo into the pit on lap 24 from about 10th place. He was up to 9th place actually. Michael Schumacher was was actually right behind him just before the pit stop. So Michael Schumacher already into the top 10 after starting down in 26th and last place on the grid. Salo filling up with about 24 laps worth of fuel, going for a very standard 24 and 48 lap pit stop strategy. He's going to rejoin here halfway down the order, down in 13th place behind his old teammate, his old sparring partner Kaya Mahendra. Senna rejoining from his first pit stop. Will he rejoin in the lead? I think he is just ahead of Martin Brundle. So Senna in the lead on lap 25. Speaking of lap 25, these are the standings as of that lap. And David Coulthard still down in 3rd place, who's still in a podium position. We're looking at Michael Schumacher, who's made his way up to 8th place. He's lapping a Simtek there, Roland Ratzenberger already. But he's up to 8th place. Very good start to the race for Michael Schumacher. Mika Häkkinen, who also started down in the pack, is up to 9th. And Gerhard Berger, who started in 11th, only up to 10th place as of lap 25. Irvine has just joined out of the pits. He's just rejoined the circuit on lap 31, so maybe on a one-stop strategy. And the Jordan is holding up Salo right now. Salo's got a good run on him through the flat kink of turn 5 and down towards turn 6. The tight left-hander is sort of like a hairpin, almost like the turn 10 at Spain. And up the inside goes Salo, squeezes Irvine to the outside of the circuit and up to 12th place. Kaya Mahendra though, 6 seconds up the road. Martin Brundle on a one-stop strategy today, battling for a potential podium, but it's all going to come undone. There's smoke billowing out the back of the McLaren, and he's going to stop on track to retire his car from this race. Lap 40, and it's another retirement for a front runner. David Coulthard, who was vying for the lead earlier on, pulls into the pits to retire due to a gearbox issue. We are now on lap 40 of this Grand Prix. Mahendra is still about 6 seconds up the road, and through retirements and pit stops, Mika Salo is into the top 10. Michael Schumacher has been in for his latest stop and is in 9th place. So Schumacher having a great recovery drive. As we've already stated, he qualified down in 26th place after some sort of issue in qualifying, and he's already made his way up into the top 10. Could he possibly score some points? Ayrton Senna is pretty much nailed on to win the championship. If he just scores a single point today, he will be champion. Salo pitting for the second final time in this race from 7th place. Barrichello had just rejoined in front of him. It could have been 6th place, but he had to slow down because Ayrton Senna, the race leader, was lapping him, and Senna also into the pits on this lap. Senna will rejoin in 1st place unless there's a big slowdown or some sort of issue in the pits, because he's so far clear of his teammate Damon Hill. And Mika Salo rejoining. He's going to let Ayrton Senna go through there. And Salo's going to rejoin down in 11th place ahead of his teammate Zombarith. Almost the whole pit stop clear of Zombarith. And Salo, I think, could be on for a top 10 finish today. Lap 50 of 71 now. We're currently looking at Zombarith down in 12th place behind his teammate Mika Salo. But both streamlines out of the top 10 right now. They've kind of come together. Salo's fallen down the positions. Zarith has climbed up a few positions. Michael Schumacher now into the points, which is crazy considering he started all the way down in 26th place. Rubens Barrichello, the Jordan driver, up in 6th place, up in the points positions as well. Salo in the midst of a tense three-way battle between Eddie Irvine, Heinz-Held Frentzen and himself for 9th place, and there's a Williams of Damon Hill trying to lap them at the same time, and look at that, it's an opportunistic move from Salo. He's trying to get past Frentzen. I don't think he's going to be able to hold it around the outside though, and he'll have to slot in behind the Sauber driver yet again. The Sauber driver's actually got a run on Eddie Irvine in the Jordan. As we roll on to the following lap, and the Jordan of Eddie Irvine still in 9th place. Heinz-Held Frentzen still 10th for the time being, but on the exit of turn 4, Salo's got a run on Frentzen. They're side by side down the straight, down towards turn 6. This has been a favoured overtaking opportunity for Salo during this race, and he takes full advantage of the run he had there on the Sauber and takes 10th place. Almost loses it on the exit though. They're still side by side as they head down towards turn 7. Salo with the inside line. Frentzen breaks later and holds on to the position. Brilliant driving between the pair of them. Frentzen makes it past Irvine, and now it's Sarlo's go to try and one-up the Jordan driver. Irvine goes super defensive and loses out on the exit of turn 6. Sarlo swoops by to take the position and manages to take that successfully up to 10th. Next up is Frentzen, and battle resumes between the Sauber and the Streamline yet again in this race. This has been commonplace, this battle between Sarlo and Frentzen during this race, and this might be the conclusion of it if Sarlo can get a good run out to turn 4 through the flat right-hander of turn 5. They're side by side down towards turn 6 again. Sarlo's got the inside line, which will be the favoured line into the corner. Can he brake later than the Sauber? Frentzen trying to hang it around the outside. He's going to lose out to the streamline of Sarlo eventually. Sarlo up into 9th place then. Mahendra's only 3.5 seconds up the road as well, but Frentzen's looking back up the inside. The Sauber sticks his nose up the inside of turn 7 and into turn 8, and then the tight left-hander of turn 9. Frentzen has just got his nose ahead and holds onto the position. Brilliant defence from the German. Onto the latest chapter of the Frentzen and Sarlo rivalry in this race, and it's lap 62. On the run down to turn 7, Sarlo's the inside line. He's not made many overtakes up there, and he has made mistakes there though in the past, and he takes 9th place this time for good. Frentzen could not fight back. Mahendra 5 seconds up the road with about 10 laps to go. Sarlo has been on the radio to report a loss of power. I don't know if it's going to end his race, but Frentzen's up the inside in the meantime to take back that 10th place, and I think we can see smoke billowing from the back of that streamline car. The Ferrari engine slowly giving up on lap 66 out of 71. So close to the finish line, and you can see how much Frentzen's just pulling away on the straight, and there's smoke. There's smoke coming out the back of the streamline. This could be terminal. Sarlo just trying to reach the finish at this point. Irvine's already made his way through now. His teammate Reith is closing up. And on the end of lap 67, the engine gives up. That is the end of Mika Sarlo's Grand Prix. From such a promising qualifying position, a promising race as well. He was battling for maybe 9th or 8th in this Grand Prix. And it's all come undone with only about 5 laps to go. And the final corner of the final lap, Senna's going to cross the line to not only win the Portuguese Grand Prix, but to be crowned the 1995 Formula 1 World Champion. That's his 5th World Championship. Senna wins and is crowned World Champion. Damon Hill makes it a Williams 1-2. Michael Schumacher recovers from qualifying down in 26th to finish on the podium. Both Ferraris make it into the points, a lazy ahead of Berger, and Rubens Barrichello scores a singular point for 6th place. He's the first driver to be lapped as well. Mika Häkkinen had a poor qualifying, recovers to finish in 7th, just outside the points. The two Saubers in the top 10, Mahendra ahead of Frentzen, and Eddie Irvine rounding out the top 10. In 11th place is the streamline of Zomba Reith. A solid performance from him. He's gone under the radar today, but finishes just outside the top 10. Panis and Verstappen behind him, followed by Morbidelli, Fisichella, Blundell, Zanardi, Martini, Herbert and Gunon 4 laps down. And here are the retirements. Because Sarlo retired due to the engine failure late on. Katayama and Ratzenberger, we missed those, but it was gearbox issues, just pulling into the pits to retire. David Coulthard retired from a promising, maybe, podium opportunity. Martin Brundle was up in the mix as well until the engine failure, and Ralf Schumacher was battling with his brother Michael before suffering a suspension failure. Here are the championship standings with 3 races to go, should I say. Ayrton Senna has now claimed the World Championship. Nobody can topple those points tallies that he's picked up now. 85 points cannot be beaten, and he is now a 5-time World Champion, joint top with Juan Manuel Fangio, who won 5 championships in the 1950s. Damon Hill solidifying his 2nd place, and Michael Schumacher just holding on there in 3rd now, ahead of David Coulthard. Rubens Barrichello's point today brings him within 1 point of McLaren driver Mika Häkkinen. Of course, we've had 18 drivers score points this season. We've had that for quite a few races as well. Many drivers not actually scoring points. Of course, I'm only showing the top 30 drivers here. I think there is a couple more drivers not appearing on the list, such as Hideki Noda, for example. Williams are crowned Constructors' Champions of 1995, defending their crown that they got in 1994. Benetton can no longer catch them. Benetton could still lose 2nd place, but that's very unlikely, with 48 points still on offer with 3 races to go. Jordan and Sauber separated by 1 point only 9 teams scoring points in the first 13 rounds of the year. A quick look at the team update. The morale is looking shaky for both drivers, to be fair, but in a sort of healthy manner. The team finance is looking pretty good, gaining almost 15,000 through that race, and our balance is looking good for next season. We're going to go into next season, hopefully get a lump sum from the prize money. If we can hold on to 7th place in the constructors, that'll be even better. 8th place won't be too bad either, and if we could build a really nice car to start next year. The next race is the European Grand Prix at the Nürburgring. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment down below how you think Mika Salo's weekend has gone and rate it out of 10, and follow all the social medias, join the Discord, subscribe if you haven't already, all that good stuff, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.